Good evening and welcome to AU Spotlight. I am your host, Dr. Miya Burt-Stewart, and in the studio with me this evening, we have a dynamic speaker, someone who we will spotlight, someone that will bring an opportunity to us that we had not anticipated. We have with us this evening Miss Air Kraehmer. Air serves as the president of the Brickell Community Chamber. And without further ado, we will allow Air to introduce herself and tell you a bit more about her. Air, hello and welcome. Thank you for thinking enough of us that you would come out and join us on this evening.
Well, thank you guys for allowing me on campus. It's been a long time since I've been a student, but I am indeed the president of the Brickell Community Chamber. I've been working in chamber life for about 7 years, an entrepreneur for about as long as I could breathe, to be honest with you, but 15 with my own companies. And most importantly, I'm a lifelong student. So I'm just like you guys, you can't keep me out of college.
Wow, awesome. And you said something interesting. You said chamber life.
Chamber
right?
life, yes.
I've not heard that before, chamber life.
Well, I would say chamber life is networking. It's getting out there, making your name known, and then also getting to know other people to figure out what their needs are, both on the society side, but also on the professional side.
Okay.
So, chamber life.
Chamber life. And so with that, you know that we have in the room with us an awesome group of students here at Atlantis University. A lot of our student body in the room with us this evening are international students. Or international superstars, as I'd like to say. But one of the things that we wanted to do by having you come to us as president and representative of the Brickell Chamber is to tell us about the Brickell Chamber and to talk to us about some of the programs. And we will disclose the surprise that we have for the body of students that are here once we have learned more about the Brickell Community Chamber.
Okay, well, I'll use my favorite word, gorgeous, because
Yes.
I love a good surprise. But ultimately, the Brickell Community Chamber, we want to really focus on that word, community. I'm sure that you guys have maybe tapped into some type of entrepreneurship or have worked a job before and you needed to be able to go find money, right? Somebody smile at me and say that they like money. Okay, great. So with that, that is the actual commerce side of a community, right? But we also have residents. So when you combine a resident chamber with a commerce chamber, you develop a community chamber. This is a little bit greater because this means that we really get to have social impact, where we're uniting the people that live in Brickell, but the surrounding areas, the students, the entrepreneurs, the people in corporate life, the academia, what have you, with the actual HOAs of the residents that we have. So, yeah.
And how long has the Brickell Community Chamber been in effect, if I may ask?
I like this question because you guys are on the cutting edge, and Atlantis being on the cutting edge, it really works. But we were allowed to open up this chamber starting January 1st of this year, which means whenever we develop programs, we actually get to work right alongside the community to have a new age look on how we approach business, how we approach each other, and how we actually lean into things like technology or social impact that is changing as far as 2020 and beyond.
Or what does the membership for the Brickell Community Chamber look like? I think you mentioned that it's exclusive to Brickell. Is that correct?
Not entirely.
Okay, I'm glad that you were able to correct.
Mostly, yes. We do focus on Brickell. Brickell's home, but Brickell's only 10 blocks, right? And Miami's a big place. I'm sure that everyone lives here in Miami at the most. Maybe you get a passport and you live in Fort Lauderdale, but we won't talk about that. But nonetheless, Brickell is only about 10 blocks, 63,000 individuals. The way that we have our memberships is we do have individual or resident memberships, Those are easy, accessible for anyone that lives, goes to school, or works in Brickell. But we also have different memberships for different types of organizations, such as a nonprofit, a trustee level, a small business level, and even a corporate level.
Okay, got it. So you can be outside of Brickell and be a member. And of course, as a member, you have access to all of the different resources that the chamber offers.
Two-folded question. I like it. So yes, you technically do not have to live in Brickell to be part of the Brickell Chamber. If you are somebody that is even wanting to work in Brickell or network in Brickell, that would still count, right? Okay. Because we're about increasing the community of Brickell, and it is our financial hub for Miami. Mm-hmm. With that, your second question, because I know it was a twofold, is access to the different programs, but not only programs, but we have clubs, we have events, we have this entire professional network available. So whenever you decide that you want to be part of the chamber, you can come in as somebody at the individual level and join our 15 social clubs. I don't know how many people like chess in here, but I like chess. But I also like our singles club, and I like our run club, and I like our book club, and again, lifelong learners, so you see my trend happening here. But with that, you also get access to professional networking. You can come to all the happy hours. Granted, you guys are 21 and above. Some of you guys have great skincare products, and I want to know about that. But you can access our happy hours, our professional networking. We do cigar night at Empire. We have all sorts of fun events. We even had a community St. Patrick's Day party a couple of days ago.
Interesting, the cigar night at Empire. I know nothing about that. Of course, I know nothing about that.
I feel like you're lying.
One of the other things that I like to establish to make sure we understand, you mentioned the Brickell Community Chamber, and prior to me catching on, I would say the chamber, right? I understood it was the community chamber, but I would say the chamber. Is there a distinct difference between a community chamber and a chamber of commerce?
Ooh, this has been my favorite question the last 3 months of my life. So yes and no. There is a umbrella term of the word chamber, because we all start with chamber, and I say chamber means unity. So just bringing people together. It could be for professional, it could be a civic organization, it could be a nonprofit. Nonprofits have chambers. Mm-hmm. Even the government, as a quasi-government chamber, is, if you guys ever go to court, you'll hopefully never end up in the judge's chamber. With that, nobody laughed at that one. I was like, come on, tough crowd. Okay, I'll step it up, guys. So with that, there is different classifications of chambers. With the community chamber, we're the only one in South Florida that is a community chamber. That's because we allow the residents to come alongside the people that they do business with, the people that they work in nonprofits with, the Brickell Run Club, even as an organization that's not a nonprofit business or an individual. We combine all of those together. So that's what makes a community versus a commerce chamber only allows individuals that have a business. Mm-hmm. Now, they could be a private business and be like an entrepreneur, an LLC, or they can be a corporation, but they have to have what's called the EIN or the FEIN in order to actually become part of a commerce chamber.
Got it. Okay, so the difference between the community chamber is that you can be an individual and be a member. So an individual member for a single person could be like $200 or something like that, mm-hmm. as opposed to a chamber. I can't be just a member of the Miami Greater Chamber. It has to be under either a corporation or a small business. I did not know that. That's interesting. So I would imagine that the Brickell Community Chamber certainly is a very different format, because you don't find that individuals oftentimes are a member of a chamber. It's usually a company or a corporation. Cool. Real quick, you said some things that I think may be interesting to us. And I say us because myself as well. Not the singles part. I wouldn't be interested in that. I'm just saying. But you said you named some of the activities, I think it was. The networking, the singles, the chess, what are some of the clubs, or what are some of the groups that you have there? Because that's something that we are always trying to make sure, and we're actually listening to them now and asking our students, student population, what is that we need to do? What can we do? And we don't necessarily have to reinvent the wheel. If we don't have it here at Atlantis University, but we have a partnership with the chamber or with any organization, right? And we're able to go and take, partake of those activities. We're down for that. We're game for that. So what are some of the activities that the Brickell Community Chamber has that may be of particular interest to us or to our student body?
Okay. So I'm going to focus on the resident silo, because we have this very strong resident silo or individual silo, and then we have this very strong commerce silo. With the social clubs, we have 15, and you saw my eyes lit up because I actually like the resident side a little bit better, I'm going to be honest. Because we have clubs like the Chest, but we also have beauty, because I know that, us Miami girls, we have, top-notch beauty routines. So, all those beauty secrets you ever wanted to know, we go and share with each other. And then we actually get sponsors like Miami Skin Spa or a different wellness center to host us. So for instance, on April 12th at Equinox, we're doing skin psychology. So if you like to know what your emotions are saying about your skin, that's a great program for the residents to attend or for the students to attend or anyone on that side. But we also have different sports clubs. We have a gentleman's club, which I'm obviously not allowed to be in. I don't know why. But that we even have more academia type of things. I love our writing club because I've published several books, as Dr. Miya knows. And I like to help people be able to get their story out there and to be able to promote, what's good to their heart.
So you help with someone, you'll help someone that wants to publish a book?
Yes, if anybody in here was showing up at that writing club every 2 weeks, we do it. And it's one of those things, if you were going to me separately or any type of published author, they may have you at a coaching fee that would be $200 an hour, and they would teach you how to publish your book. But when you join one of these clubs and we have published authors already there, I just want to see you succeed because I enjoy the process. I don't want to say take advantage of me while I'm there, but utilize the skills that you have by networking with people like us, which is something I would say that Atlantis does with your professors. If they come to you, you want to help them.
This for those that are in the audience today. Last week or the last time we did one of these, our AU Spotlight, I think and even in my classes, I tell our students all the time, you've got instructors like myself, you've got instructors like Professor Lyons, you've got a Dr. Buchanan. I tell our students to use us. That's also a part of why we're here. Use us, right? We may have connections. We may, be able to make a phone call. Use us beyond the classroom because we want to be able to make that kind of contribution. And that's why we're here. We're not here just to be your teachers, right? We are professors. We are here to impart. However, we may have connections, right? Your success is our success. And if you're not successful, we're not successful. I truly believe that. Now, one last question, and then we're going to get into probably the surprise. The networking, though, what kind of networking opportunities are there? We want for our student body to be able, if they don't have class Wednesday, and Monday, Wednesday, right? What's going on over at the Brickell Chamber down in Brickell that they can go where they can go and network, right, with some of the businesses or some of the entrepreneurs that are present and a part of the Brickell Chamber, and they can just kind of show up and meet people and get connected.
Glorious. So there's different ways to approach it. It's kind of a make what you want out of it, because not everybody enjoys going to a happy hour, right? But they may enjoy meeting with other entrepreneurs that are focusing on AI and business over at AKA, which is one of our hotel sponsors. So with that, you could approach it 2 different ways. You could go onto the website, see what venues, what we have available that are industry-based. Let's say you want to learn about real estate, then you'll go to the real estate meeting. Versus if you want to learn more about STEM and sciences of that nature, then you're going to probably hang out with me over at the Key. But with that, that's one approach. The other approach is we have a huge membership directory. So whenever you become part of the chamber, let's say you want an internship somewhere, or you're trying to volunteer with an organization, or maybe you're looking for a mentor, right? Whenever you become a part of that directory, you're allowed to message the team and be like, hey, I'm looking for someone that can help me learn more about how real estate works, maybe on the development side or on the agent side. We have different people that actually want to help mentor or maybe even need interns or possibly even employees to be able to come alongside you. Now we have one more bonus, and we're building this out very strong, but I would imagine by September, it's going to be, Army strong, for lack of better words.
Army.
Army strong is, I understand from personal experience. I shared that I owned businesses starting at 21, and I grew what was 6 retail stores over the course of 8 years as someone that was not from Miami, that had no idea, how to put 2 nickels together, let alone lead an organization or grow a company. And I wish I would have had access to the resources that we have with the community chamber. I didn't even know what a CPA was. You guys probably could laugh at me for that one. I had no idea how to legally set up a business, and I had no idea how to lead people. So here I am at 21 with 60 people to lead. And I'm like, I have no idea they're fighting. What do we do, right? Or, how do I process my taxes? So with those even smaller memberships at the resident side, we could still be able to give you the resources to be able to establish your next goal in your career. Something that, again, I wish I would have had 12, 15 years ago.
Wow, awesome. You said you've been running a business since 21, or you started at 21. And so that was only 4 years ago, though, right?
No.
Talk about
15.
skincare. I certainly want to come to one of the seminars or the workshop with the skin. Okay, so now, the leadership program. The Brickell Community Chamber has a 6-week leadership program that it rolls out by partnering with organizations, whether it's universities, whether it's corporations, whether they are nonprofit. Please tell us more about this 6-week leadership program.
Okay, I shall. I felt like that was a great infomercial. Yeah. Please tell us more. So this is what I'm most excited about because, again, I'm about the community, and we actually have our tagline being the people of Brickell. We are all about for the people. So with the leadership program, it is 6 weeks. What we do is we break it down into 2 different segments. The first 3 weeks are about developing the leaders. It could be the students. It could be other people that are in small businesses that are trying to become better, maybe in management, or better entrepreneurs or better CEOs. Or it could even be somebody that, is a mom and just wants to know how to lead her empire of her children. So with that, what we're really looking for people are wanting to not only become better for themselves, but those around you, but also connect back to the community. So we have 3 weeks of education, and then we have 3 weeks of servitude, or connecting back. So do you want me to break down individually?
So next? The first 3 weeks is the academic or the education piece. And then the last 3 weeks are, I'll let you talk about those last 3 weeks, because that's what I'm really excited about. And that's a part of when I talk to our students about why we are here and what we're trying to do with getting them connected. It's those last 3 weeks that I really like.
Gorgeous. So am I allowed to interact with you guys? Will you guys work with me here? Okay. How many of you all like animals? Okay, so we got half the room. How many of you all are passionate about the planet? Okay. I'm a little concerned about some climate change now.
More animals than the planet.
I was 4. Okay. How many people like human rights? All right. You like your rights, right? Everybody should be raising their hand. We live free, right? So with that, how many of you all have a social cause that you care about? And it could be anything that you're just when I think of this, my blood boils. I want to go make change. I want to make the world better. Everybody's hand should be up, every single person. Don't be shy, right? Somebody cares about something somewhere. So those last 3 weeks are about social impact. What we do is we actually put you guys into teams after you've been developed as a leader and group you together with a nonprofit or a civic organization that you enjoy, that you're passionate about. For instance, I am super passionate about human rights, especially domestic violence or human trafficking, and being able to prevent that and get it out of my city, right? So what would happen for someone like me coming into this program is I would be trained for 3 weeks on how to be a better leader. We can get into that here in a moment. But then you get to partner me with people that are just like me, that are like, I love the planet. We have to work on that here. But, I love the planet. I love animals. I love human rights. I love the underline over there or something. You love children, right? Maybe. I don't know how many people have children here, but we were all children at one point. So with that, we put you in a small group, connect you with a nonprofit that aligns with your heart, your cause, and then you get to work with this nonprofit for 3 weeks to accomplish one of their goals. So not only, you get that good heart feeling, right? But you also get to give back to the community. It's a great resume builder. And then you get to walk away with beautiful friends. So this is one of my favorite parts about community, especially what we offer at the Chamber.
Now, what I wanted to, so I love that. That's the part that I'm most excited about. So that's what I was saying to you all when I talk about this leadership program, but more so just being able to connect you all. Now, in the audience, we have Masters in Business Administration, we have Masters in Healthcare, we have Masters in Information Technology, and we have Masters in Hospitality. Did I miss anyone? Right? So those are the 4 programs, right, or disciplines that we have in the audience. And so in the last 3 weeks, when we talk about connecting the small groups to a nonprofit or to an entity, there will be, or will there be, an opportunity, say, for the IT group to work with the nonprofit and work on maybe finding an IT solution to a problem that the nonprofit has? The business program, the MBA students, right? Is there an opportunity, or will there be an opportunity for them to work on some kind of strategy in terms of helping the nonprofit or the organization grow? Hospitality, right? Mm-hmm. Meaning, based on the backgrounds and the degrees that are being pursued here at Atlantis, will we have an opportunity when we connect with our nonprofit to work within the realm of what our degree is, or the degree that we are pursuing, right? In addition to maybe it won't then be that, it's a nonprofit where I get to work on an IT type problem. Maybe it will be, marine life, going out and helping to save the turtles, right? And put them back in their environment. But I think I'm just asking more so as it relates to the opportunities or the options.
Gorgeous. So short answer is yes. Now I'm going to give you a long answer. So let's start with business, right? Nonprofits, if you can learn how to make a nonprofit work, the people that have to ask for money, the people that are trying to save the turtles, beat the odds of what's around, I swear if you can learn how to make that business work, you can make any business work. So for all of our masters, our business development, sales, marketing individuals out there, whether it's more on the tech side or it's more on the numbers side, depending on where you lean on business, most nonprofits have no clue how to develop a business plan. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't have a business plan for my first company, first 5 years. And I was like, I didn't even know what one was. I would have loved to have somebody that was a master's in business tell me, how do I allocate these things, right? So working with their budgets could be a great opportunity for someone in business development as far as different ideas. I'll be honest with you, I was on a call maybe 2 weeks ago. I had to explain what revenue, profit, and expenses were, right? That's how much they need individuals that have a master's in business to come alongside them. Now that could work with saving the turtles, it could work with helping the homeless, providing meals, what have you. Getting into healthcare, right? I'm sure that you guys have seen the red blood drive trucks that want all of our glorious vital sources. And we also know that we have wellness checks that are needed. We have a lot of people that can't actually leave their homes. So developing programs that help, and maybe a nurse be able to figure out how to even work around Brickle. Brickle's a block system or a grid system. An IT person could easily go in there, have a passion for healthcare, and develop some type of cool software that I won't understand, I'll be really honest with you, but teaches them how to have the correct route, that way they can serve the most patients.
Oh, wow.
So a nonprofit would, love that type of idea. Wow. And then finally, so I got business, I got healthcare. What was my last one?
We talked
Tech.
about IT and hospitality.
Hospitality. Ooh, I love hospitality. So we work with a lot of restaurants. Obviously, Brickell is known for having those, elaborate entertainment centers where it's not just you come in and get a meal, you get, the whole rose course experience. So what they really have passions for is being able to not only rebrand and keep up with, cutting edge tourism to like bring people over and over back into Miami, but also you could connect it back to something with feeding the children, maybe at schools that can't, I know this one matters to you, at schools that can't afford meals, or be able to work with the homeless. Because when you get more inner city, we do have an increase in homelessness. So being able to work with the different hospitality industries, it could be more on the restaurant side, it could be more on the venue side, even nightlife. We do live in Miami, guys. So with that, we can still connect you with the right type of businesses to help teach you, and then again, right back into the nonprofit world. I would even go as far with like the clubs that we have that are really big down in Brickell, like Toastmasters. Like they definitely need help being able to organize their programs as well.
Oh, when you said clubs, I thought you were talking about Live. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Space 11. Depends on where you want to go, Dr. Miya.
So thank you so much, Air. So now we'll get to the surprise. So one of the things that you've said to us is that in order to gain access to the Brickell Community Chamber resources is that, you have to have a membership. And so whether it's an individual or whether it's a company, right, a private company or a nonprofit. So because Atlantis University, we are definitely passionate about what we do here, right? That's why we are here. And it just means so much to us that individuals, our students in particular, that they think enough of Atlantis University that they will come here and go to school with us, right? And so that's one of the reasons we hire, right, some of the best in the business. The instructors, the faculty that we have here, they're not just regular people. These are shakers and movers. And when we show up, we don't just say it, we look the part, right? We look the part. And so with that being said, provide an opportunity, right, beyond what we give our students here. Atlantis University has agreed to, and it's in the works, we are going to become a member of the Brickell Community Chamber, right? Not only is Atlantis University going to become a member of the Brickell Community Chamber, once we become a member, which hopefully will be done by the end of the week, I'm working on it. It's a done deal. I just gotta grab people and get it done. But once we become a member, you will have access to everything that the Brickell Community Chamber offers. Now, that's one. Two, you will be tapped. You will have a conversation with me, and we can talk more about it this evening. But you will also have an opportunity to participate in the Brickell Community Chamber Leadership Program. And so the first 3 weeks will be the education piece, and the last 3 weeks you will be connected to an organization. Now the organization is not only in Brickell, an organization throughout, I think, throughout Miami-Dade. And some examples of those organizations that you have relationships with are, I think you had a few listed in the email.
Yes. So going back, we can go into like Elite Foundation, that's about human trafficking prevention and awareness. We get into the Underline, that beautiful stretch of road, and why I got to be here. So the Underline Green Project is coming up. We have Salvation Army. We have United Way, Make-A-Wish. Like we have connections. What's awesome. Nonprofits want this, so they're like, yes.
And so once Atlantis University becomes a member, and we are doing it exclusively because we want to give you this opportunity. Once we become a member, you all will be eligible to participate in the Brickell Community Chamber Leadership Program. And again, the first 3 weeks will be the education piece, and the education piece will take place here. The Chamber has agreed to allow you to go to to do your first 3 weeks here on campus, so that when you finish the training here or with the program, if you have class, you can go directly to class. And so we wanted to keep down as much travel as possible and not have you all going out of your way. And so that's the first 3 weeks. And then the second 3 weeks, again, you will be paired with an organization. Hopefully you will choose an organization that you could see yourself working for if you chose to stay here in the United States. Now, because Air talks about a nonprofit, right? A nonprofit is still a business, right? A nonprofit still has to operate, still has to, it's one of those things where the IRS says to a corporation, it says the same thing to a nonprofit. You're either making money or you close your doors, right? Or there's just no reason for you to be here. So while you will be aligned with the nonprofit, I guess the concept is different, but the principle is the same, meaning it's still a business that's in business to do business, or not necessarily to make money, but certainly to raise money, right? Nonprofits are not, they don't sell per se. They operate based on contributions and donations. So that's the good news that I wanted to share with you. How many are interested in participating in the leadership program? Okay. Excellent.
See, that's a lot more than the planet. So I don't know if I'm really excited or concerned still, but I liked that.
Awesome. So I will talk more with you about it probably after this segment. But what I'd like to do is, we've learned about the Brickell Community Chamber. We've learned about the difference between the chamber, a community chamber, and a traditional, and a commerce or a traditional chamber. We've learned about our president and what the Brickell Community Chamber has to offer. I've told you a bit about the folk that are in the room, the masters. All of them are master's level, whether it's business, healthcare, hospitality, or IT. Are there any questions that our audience would like to ask, either of our speaker or of myself? Any questions?
Not all at once.
Need any clarity? So there are folk that are interested in the leadership program. You are ready, willing, and able to commit the time and the talent that it takes to be a part of this program? All right.
I didn't even tell you. It was like, every single moment, every single day of all of your life. So they didn't ask about time commitments.
Yeah.
Somebody be brave. Somebody ask me.
Someone ask about time commitments, please. What is the time?
There we go. Comes from the professor, our teacher's pet. Okay. So with that, for those first 3 weeks, we're meeting once a week. So it's not every single day that you need to be investing that time. It's going to be about 1 to 2 hours, a master class type of session where we bring in an expert in that field. So we actually have 3 different weeks with 3 different topics. So the first week being, do you remember?
I don't.
All right, no worries. The first week being public speaking,
yes.
Which is why I was like, do you remember? And now I can know, it's like, okay, guys, we're going to work on our public speaking and get up there. But we're going to have people come from Toastmasters, which is one of the top clubs for learning how to public speak, especially from an international level.
Yes.
Maybe we can take a poll. How many of us are actually not born in the United States? All right. How many of us had to learn English as a second language? All right. How many of us feel very comfortable getting in front of everybody and speaking in English as a second language, and hopefully you get every single word right? One.
BG?
One.
I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and look at my notes on that, BG.
But if I brought in somebody that has won awards in public speaking, or maybe you've done a TED Talk even, and knows that this is their second language and gives you all the tips and the tricks so you don't shake and you get all sweating on stage, 10 years from now, whenever you are accepting your awards and, getting those promotions and getting up to lead teams, you're going to think back to that moment, right? That was 2 hours of your life that made a huge difference, right? Okay, next week, right? Now we're focusing on...
I don't know.
No worries. We're focusing on diversity and inclusion and cultural awareness. Now, have you ever been in a relationship with somebody, whether it's familia, whether it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, colleague, coworker, and you're like, I do not understand what planet you came from? Like, how did you arrive at that solution as far as like fixing this problem? Anybody ever had a fight in their life? Okay, got it.
A fight?
A fight, like, got an argument, right?
Oh, an argument,
Okay.
yes.
I get a little physical, but, we live in Miami, right? We not only have the Latin population, but we have people from all over the United States. We have the Europeans. We have people from Ukraine, Russia. We have a Jewish population. We all have different ways to do things. Yeah. And I always share with people, maybe it's my psychotherapy side, that there's no right way or wrong way. There's just different ways. But we're all living in Miami-Dade, and we love our place. We love our home, our Brickell community, for lack of a better word. So learning how to navigate conflict and understand different cultures and meet people where they're at to be able to get to the same goal, which in this case is that nonprofit goal, right? In this case, it's becoming a better leader. Like, we have a whole masterclass based on that one. And if you attend that one, you're with me, so I'm going to push you. And then finally, we have something that's going to be really great for our business people out here, for our masters in business, and it is how to market for nonprofits. Because nonprofits, they have to operate like a business, like you mentioned, but they also operate off of 3 different things. And this is your first little mini lesson. It's either time, talent, or treasure. So it's not about money all the time. Sometimes it's about time, right? The time that you commit to this program, that doesn't always get to be an option for nonprofits because they may not be able to compete with for-profit businesses that can pay thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars for employees. They're volunteer-based, and so they're really counting on that time, but they're also counting on your talents. There's individuals in this room that I already know technology better than I will ever know in my entire life. They may not know how to even develop a website, right? So some of you all are like, I did that in my sleep. Like, I do that on Fiverr or something like that, right? Like, they don't know how to understand the back end of something as far as engineering goes or how it functions. Same thing with healthcare, right? Some of them may not even understand how to build a nutrition plan, and they'll need your help to be able to do that for the people that they serve. So when we focus on that marketing portion, that last portion, it's how do we connect their cause, the same thing that you care about so deeply, on a massive level to attract other people, especially talent or knowledge or other people that are mentors in this area to that nonprofit. So those 3 weeks of masterclasses, that's about 6 hours, but that's going straight into you to develop you, again, to bring it back to the community.
Wow.
So I get really passionate, okay, guys?
Wow, that's awesome. Wow, I could talk about this all night. That's awesome. I'm thank you so much for breaking it down and for sharing. I'm glad that you all got to hear it. How many of you, based on what Ms. Kraehmer has said, how many of you that this really sounds interesting to you? You really will, yeah. Now
that's we've got almost everybody. Yeah. There's like 2 people I'm still working on. I'm like a full house type of girl. So
good deal. Well, any before I close the floor, any last questions? Professor? Yes.
I may have a question. A lot of what you were talking about for the different programs for your leadership program sounds like could also be used for projects for classrooms. Like, for example, in a marketing class, maybe very frequently for an 8-week course, they'll have a presentation that is built over the weeks of the course and then delivered, and it, they're asked to apply all the marketing skills and learning that they've learned. I'm thinking, wouldn't that be wonderful if they could do that for a business that needs that marketing, or a healthcare company that that needs that project in healthcare or finance or something. rather than just do a project to demonstrate the learning and it's all over, do the project and it really benefits a business or a nonprofit. So they get the experience, the business gets the benefit of it, the relationship between the chamber and the school is stronger, and maybe the most beneficial part of it is contacts are made. Working with those people over time, that could lead to all kinds of professional networking.
And that's kind of where I was going when I talked about, the different the different disciplines that are in the classroom: hospitality, IT, engineering, business. That's where I was going when I said so they could potentially work on a project that deals directly with their skill and meets a need of the nonprofit. That's exactly. Thank you, Professor Lyons, for clarifying that. But that's exactly what I was talking about. And so it sounds like you're saying, yep, that's doable.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, that's doable. And so if there are no more questions, and it looks like there's no more, I want to thank you all so much for being diligent. I want to thank you all so much for being the lively and studious crowd that you have been. I want to thank you all again for first and foremost and I've said this and you've heard this, for thinking enough of Atlantis University that you would decide to pursue academic excellence here with us. And so as a result of that, we try to match your energy and your commitment to us by bringing in people like Air Kraehmer, president of the Brickell Community Chamber, by bringing in people that can offer us programs, leadership programs, like the Chamber provides, by allowing AU to become a partner, and then us extending those benefits of a partnership to you. And so if there is nothing else that we'd like to add, again, I'd like to thank you all for coming out. I would like to let you know that we will be available to talk more after this session about the leadership program. We will begin working on enrollments for the leadership program in the next coming days. And so I will likely stop by your classroom and schedule with your instructor to stop by your classroom, Dr. Buchanan and Professor Rye. If you are here and you're not in a class, certainly feel free to speak with me as well. Again, I am your host, Dr. Miya Burt-Stewart. This has been AU Spotlight with Air Kraehmer, president of the Brickell Community Chamber. And again, thank you and have a great evening.